Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about scatter plots and lines of best fit. Now in my class we've been introduced to this a little bit already, but we're going to be talking about it a little bit more. The first thing we want to look at is the fact that when we look at real data from the real world, there's obviously going to be some error. You can have errors in people measuring, there's errors in just the data themselves, there's all sorts of fluctuations. But that doesn't mean that we can't create models and functions for that data. It's very often that the data will be close enough that we can say that it correlates. And so that's the first word that we're going to be using today that's kind of a new important word is correlates. Okay? And correlate just means that the data can fit to something else. Okay? Now we're going to be correlating data to a straight line or a linear graph today, or a linear model. And so as we do it, that's what we're going to be looking at. Now with linear graphs, we have what's called a positive correlation. And a positive correlation means that it has a positive slope. As your x variable increases, so as x goes up, y will also increase, or as x decreases, y decreases. Okay, the other correlation is a negative correlation, and a negative correlation has a negative slope because as x increases, so as we're going to the right, y decreases. And you can see as we go to bigger x values, the y value is decreasing. So those are the two correlations we'll be looking at today with our scatter plots and our real data. Now, of course, if it's not a very nice line, then we would say that there is no correlation. And that may happen as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to look at a couple of graphs. I need to say that these graphs I did take from a worksheet by McGraw-Hill. So let's go ahead and look at them. Now the first graph here, average U.S. hourly earnings. We have years since 2003 and the hourly earnings. You should be able to see that these points are increasing. As x increases, y is also going up or increasing. We can draw a line of best fit. And when we draw that line of best fit, we're going to do as best we can. So we're going to insert an actual line. And it's going to go as best we can, just like this. There's my line of best fit. It's a straight line. When you draw your lines, you should use a ruler. You shouldn't just freehand it. Okay? So make it nice. And so this one, of course, would be a positive correlation. All right? Let's look at the next one, average jogging speed. So this is somebody that's going out jogging. At the beginning, they're jogging 10 miles an hour. As time progresses, they're getting slower and slower and slower. Now, these points don't lie on a perfect line. Neither did the first one, but this is a little bit more obvious that it's not perfect. However, we can still say that there is somewhat a correlation. And so we're just going to go ahead and draw a line there. And you can see that when I draw my line of best fit, there's a point above, there's a point below, there's a couple of points on top, and that's what we're looking at. We want to make sure that there's about the same number of points above and below, and then we're matching as many as we can. All right, now this one, of course, would be a negative correlation. All right, on to number 3. This one is looking at library fines and the numbers of fines that people had based off of the books that they borrowed. Now, you can kind of think about that the number of books you borrow isn't going to change your library fines. It's how late you turn it in. And if you look at these data points, there's not really one line that looks like it would very well demonstrate our data, right? The points aren't really going up or down. So this one we would say is no correlation. My last one, of course, we come in, we look at it again, and if you think about what we were talking about before, again, this one, we would have a straight line going up. Again, it's not perfect, but I've got a point that's below, a couple of points that are kind of above. Maybe I want to draw my line a little bit different, okay? But you get the idea, positive correlation.